we were working with a local company that was commissioned with putting up statues and different art pieces for when Cleveland was hosting the All-Star game for the MLB. So we were making some stands where they put the graphics of the baseball and the All-Star logo on there. Like, that's cool to see.
Welcome to Manufacturing Runs the World, the podcast that breaks down the industry you never think about but can't live without. It's always cool when you get to talk to someone within the family in a family-owned business. So
Yeah,
appreciate the time.
No, appreciate you having me on. It's awesome.
Yeah, so Tendon is kind of a big deal. I was kind of going to school. You guys are like touching every single industry there is, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I want to get the point across that manufacturing is like the underlying industry that runs the entire world.
Yeah.
And you guys specifically touch something that everyone touches in a single day. Like a flight, if you drove a car, if you are on a medical device, if you use the home appliance, you guys seem to be in there in some fashion.
I mean, the thing about working at a smaller business is, a lot of the management team wears multiple hats. So when I first started, I was doing, most of the purchasing and handling payroll and a lot of personnel. So currently I'm still doing a lot of the purchasing, and now I've pivoted more to handling more of the major accounts that we have, which dictates a lot of our operations. So, first thing in the morning, you get emails from some of our major customers looking for ETAs. Where are you at in the production process?
It sounds like you like fill the voids, which is like any entrepreneur does, right? You're like, okay, there's a need here, and we need it for the business, so I'm going to do that because that's where I'm most effective right now.
Exactly, and you see the dollars. We're very, very transparent too. So we still have an old routing system. Parts travel with the work orders. And on there, it gives you the price per piece. So that's where employees and all of us see the dollars and cents of things. So it kind of puts in the back of your mind. You're like, well, I'm not going to be taking so much time deburring these parts if it's a 75-cent piece. I should be knocking this out pretty quickly. Should I be throwing it in the tumbler? Right. So, that helps us all get on the same page as far as output. But then, like, you said, filling those voids, understanding where your bottlenecks are and what departments need work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you speak of these departments, and as I mentioned earlier, I kind of went to school on your website. Very informative for sure. But why don't you kind of give the viewers an idea? Why is Tendon Manufacturing a thing? How did it start? Or
we're an OEM, so we will be making components for a lot of projects across various industries, whether it's medical, the measuring industry, the lighting industry. Like right now, a snapshot of what our floor looks like. We are making galvanneal panels. They're being formed right now. They go on industrial heaters. So that's one of our bigger projects. Our biggest project right now is we are fabricating and assembling major power storage and data storage units.
Oh, wow.
So those will go to, the Amazons of the world and stuff like that for, these data storage banks. It's been cool how the demand fluctuates. So during COVID, we were making air purifying units, obviously, because those were in high demand. So a customer will come to us with blueprints, with ideas. If they don't have the original drawings, we will engineer for them. We have a staff of engineers that can do that. So laser cutting, forming, sanding, powder coat, silk screen, welding, and fastener pressing. So we do that all in-house. We want to be a one-stop shop. I think that's what helps separate us as far as a job shop is concerned. You're not having to outsource to a powder coater, a silk screener, grinding, and stuff like that. So that does set us apart. And we've got quite a bit of stamping companies here in Cleveland, but as you, I'm sure know, stamping companies, they really only want to deal with, hundreds of thousands of piece orders. Right. So if they don't have a tool for it, they'll sub a lot of that out to us because we do have punching capabilities as well. So we don't say yes to everything. We've learned our lesson, but if we think it's in our wheelhouse, we'll try it.
And is that how the company started? Was there like a single project that launched you guys, or have you always been just like makers of whatever the market is demanding at the time?
We're mostly a machining house and a little bit of a punch press house. And my dad started with his partner back in '88, and they worked together at Warner and Swayze, which, they were making lathe units. With that background knowledge, they linked up with a company that's no longer in existence, but it's Gould. Similar thing. They were our first customer. We were almost like an in-source, outsource facility for them. And we latched on with a company here in Solon that for a long time was 60% of our business. And, they moved a lot to China. So we were pivoting. And that's kind of where we've been. You pivot, you see what projects are there, you look at the trends, and you try to, be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of trends, you got to be feeling pretty good about the tariffs coming in and US trying to take manufacturing in-house. It seems like you guys are pretty well positioned to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we've been in a good position when it comes to going against the foreign influence because of just the lead times and the quantities being ordered, because a lot of times it doesn't make sense to go somewhere when you're going to be paying a lot of money for a tool or the freight costs.
Right.
But it certainly helps. I mean, the tariffs, it's a double-edged sword because of, the costs of steel and aluminum coming up. But with all the domestic steel, we're pretty good. And I'd say about 90% of what we do is steel.
Cool. What is the coolest part that you have worked on?
The coolest part, I find it fun when, somebody with a dream comes in with some drawings of what they want to do. And we were working with a local company that was commissioned with putting up statues and different art pieces for when Cleveland was hosting the All-Star game.
Yeah.
For the MLB. So we were making some stands where they put the graphics of the baseball and the All-Star logo on there. Like, that's cool to see.
Yeah.
Like what we talked about earlier, I just love seeing our products out in the wild. Like, we work with the vending machine company that does the lottery machines. So we make the black cover that goes, above the ticket dispenser. So you're seeing those at a bunch of gas stations. So just anything you actually see out there is really cool. And we play around too. Like, a lot of us, we always talk about sports, and now that March Madness is coming up, so we'll laser cut signs. My brother went to Xavier, I went to Ohio State. We got Notre Dame fans, Ohio State, Kent State, Akron. So it's kind of fun to play around and make stuff like that.
Cool. But yeah, that's cool. I've asked another person that he's kind of on the small side of manufacturing. He kind of is a consultant that can produce products from their ideation to full product. And he kind of answered that question in a similar fashion. Like, he loves when someone comes in for the first time with this idea and they see their actual part made at the end of all this manufacturing process, and it's an actual thing, and how their eyes light up. And he said that was more rewarding. I would have always thought it would have been like, I make this little trinket that goes on a Lamborghini or a Boeing 747 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you see somebody with a dream wanting to do that, and when you actually think, there's a market for that. That's a cool idea. We had a customer that he makes a device that flattens the vinyl. So for a lot of people who are record collectors, to help preserve it, we were making the metal plates that clamp down and sort of flatten those records. And it was funny because when he first came in, you're like, what kind of, like, I'm not seeing a lot of production quantities for this, but he placed 500-piece orders, and you're like, oh, okay, there is a market for this. Yeah. It's very cool. But yeah, it was an interesting one too, because we just laser cut and painted and silkscreen this cool record logo on it. So
yeah, I don't know how you'll answer this, but who can't live without Tendon Manufacturing? Like, obviously there's distributors, you mentioned yourself.
Yeah.
Is there an end user somewhere that you make a part that is helping beat their heart?
I think because we serve so many industries that, our absence would be felt. I think what's so great about things, when I first started, especially in customer service, you almost hit that panic. Like, if you're not hitting your on-time delivery, they're going to drop me, or some quality issues have come up, and you kind of worry and you're concerned, but they lean on you quite a bit because you'll have an overrun and you'll have stock of their part, and they'll need something in a pinch. Or if it's a part that we've run for decades, they're going to be relying on you to turn it around in a week, which in a lot of cases we can, because we do sit on a decent amount of stock, and we do have the staff to do it. So there are quite a few customers that we've become full-on partners with. I think obviously we need them, they need us. So somebody's always going to come in with either a better price or better lead time, and you got to do your best and foster those relationships. But at least for our repeat customers, I think that there is very, very reciprocal relationship.
For sure. If you guys were not there answering the phone or have not provided such high quality service in the past, they're potentially not putting their product out to the market, or having serious delays in doing so.
Exactly.
Cool.
So, and it's cool. It's one of those things where, even a repeat customer wants to make a revision change midway through production. If it's something minor, we're able to pull the trigger on that pretty quickly, as opposed to if you're going into a new customer, or a new vendor, I should say, they might be like, like, sorry, the order's already placed. Like, you're SOL, but I can give you the same price for this new rev. So yeah.
So I did notice on your site, my assumption was that you have done a lot of traditional manufacturing in the past and metal fabrication, but I did notice you have this entire section dedicated to robot manufacturing and automation. And then within that page, you had tons of different automation types that are kind of all playing into this industry 4.0.
Yeah.
Do you guys see a lot of demand for that type of stuff, like robot welding and robot press brakes, and is that the reason for that shift?
Yeah, and I think your previous guest from Cluse, right? Cluse Robotic Welding,
Yep.
He kind of hit the nail on the head when he was talking about, it's kind of like an adapt or die mentality. The automation makes a lot of sense when, like obviously for the longest time, we're making 5 to 50 pieces of a part for a customer, and we're turning over and doing a new setup for a different customer, a different job. But now that as we've gotten orders in the hundreds and the thousands, it's really making a lot more sense. And with, the labor shortages that people across the industry seem to suffer. For example, like you have that robotic arm that we just got, I would say about 3 months ago, and we've been filling it. It's been running nonstop. So when we've had such a hard time finding brake operators, not so much for first shift, but finding a press brake operator that can work within your salary range and work second or third shift, that just triples your production. So that and as I mentioned with the power banks and the data server like processing servers that we are making at mass quantities, those are such like massive weldments that we'd have an employee tied up all shift, probably only produce 2 bases, when with that robot we can knock out 20 to 30 a shift.
Yeah,
so it's huge. And I mean, I've said this before, a lot of what we do, like as far as automation, it's automate to accommodate, because it's not just the labor shortage, it's the skills gap. It's, that there hasn't really been that push in the trades. So these people aren't learning the vital skills early on. So we're trying to bridge that gap as well. So, I mean, that helps. I mean, I would say robotic welding, we're still fine tuning. I think if we were to move more, we would probably look into like laser welding would be our next move, because we work with a lot of thin gauge material. So, that factors in to jump in and out for the robotic welder. But I mean, it's busy welding the thick stuff, so we're not complaining. Yeah.
Well, one of the cooler things that I've gotten to experience through meeting all these different people in the manufacturing is just kind of making connections with people. Is there anyone that you're trying to work with to either help your automation on the floor, or is there an ideal customer that you're looking for that within a specific industry currently?
Yeah. I mean, we don't shy away from projects. We've got a really good backlog, so we do have more capacity than we ever have when it comes to bigger assemblies, like that type of work. But yeah, I mean, we're always looking. We're looking for maybe some advice as far as maybe how to automate our powder coating area, because the only thing I've really seen are the reciprocating guns that just go like this. You're still going to need a touch-up guy, things like that, and any kind of we did some offline programming, which really helps bridge the gap for our brake operators. That's been huge, because they've been able to pull up the 3D model and see where they need to check their gauges and stuff like that. Really anything that can help assist production, and like I mentioned, kind of bridging that skills gap is something we're always looking for. Yeah. And anyone crazy enough to want to work third shift, because I think we can do that too. I appreciate it. Yeah, use some AI to make me a little more presentable, possibly. Put some hair on my head or something.
Well, you have this. You have your arms close to the camera, so it looks like you have these huge hands.
Oh yeah, little Andre the Giant type stuff. Oh, that'll look good. Yeah,
I'll make a thing about it. Instagram post about it.
Oh, perfect.
It'll go viral.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, see what they turn that into. Oh boy.
Well, thanks for your time, Adam.
Man, thank you.